Welcome back. Welcome back. Well, there's a song like this, right? Welcome back.
I don't
Welcome back.
know.
No? I gotta make
Hello,
them think.
friends.
Welcome back, everybody.
It's us again.
It's us again. The Senfards. The crazy Senfards, yo.
We're not
Crazy
crazy.
Senfards. We're not crazy. We just have crazy faith. How y'all doing, bro? How y'all doing? Today we're doing this a little earlier. The kids are in school. The past few recordings, it's like almost midnight when we're finishing. We're like beat.
Yeah.
Can't wake up to get the girls ready for school. So we're trying to go back to a regular schedule. But life gets in the way sometimes, and you gotta learn how to
Adjust.
shift and
Yeah.
adjust.
Yeah.
And we're very adaptable when it comes to things.
We're
So
flexible. Try to keep it.
yeah, that's the beauty of of having this space that the Lord has blessed us with, where we get to be flexible. Because then if you book something, if you cancel, then there's a fee, or you don't get your money back, or with kids you can't record a certain hour a day because so God has made a way, and we're very grateful, and we don't take it for granted, and we don't complain. We make it work, and yeah, so
I
we're happy
complain
that
in
you're
the
here.
morning when I can't wake up.
She does complain in the mornings, but that's okay. That's totally okay. At least we show up. And I remember a few days ago we were talking. This last recording I did, I had a headache and I had a stomach ache, and as we're getting ready, and I'm like in pain, and I'm like I'm gonna make it through,
Hmm.
because if you guys watch the previous episodes, then you know that I would I would go to work with
If you had
those.
to.
You
Yeah.
know, I would never call out. If I have a headache, I'll just take some pills and make it to work and do what I have to do. So I was like, what, I'm gonna do the same for the Lord, just because, it's not. And I'm not working for someone, but I'm working for the most important one. So the same way I treat the industry wherever I work is the same mentality I try to maintain when we're doing this. Same thing when it comes to serving. If I wake up with something and we have to serve that day, whether it's in the church or whether it's at the shelter, I'm like, I gotta make it. I gotta push through, because if I was, in the world, in the workspace, I would have not called out. So, but yeah, we thank the Lord for every time we get to come here. We hope you guys are doing well. We hope every episode so far has been a blessing for y'all. It certainly has been a blessing for us. So we hope the same for you guys. Yeah. What are we getting into today? A few episodes ago, we kind of dropped the bomb of the Lord asked us to start a ministry, and we never really got to kind of talk about that a little bit. But so I wanted to get into that a little bit today. But first, shout out to all our testifiers out there. You guys have been wonderful. For those who have reached out, through message and stuff like that, or have spoken to us in person, letting us know, how this is blessing you. It's a blessing to us to hear what it's doing for you, because again, we always ask the Lord, are we doing exactly what you want us to do? Is the podcast doing what it's supposed to do? Because she mentioned a few episodes, in the beginning, how she was focusing on the numbers, because you tend to do that, right? And we try not to do any of that. And like we said, he left the 99 to save the one. And for us, we're not about numbers. It could be for one person, and if the Lord gets the glory, and that's all that matters for us, that's a success. So, but anyway, yeah. So we wanted to shout out you guys. So definitely keep sending those messages, and letting us know how this is encouraging you, and definitely let us know where you're watching this from, because we're we're finding out we have a little global demographic going on. So we're very grateful for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Lord asked us to stop working when we got here, and we found out through the last fast that our purpose in this season was to start a ministry, to serve the homeless. and we talk a little bit about how that has always been what's the word? What's the word I use for that? Discontentment or something like that. For me, seeing people on the street in need of help and not getting it. So that always like kind of boils my blood, and I would always try to do something about it. So that when the Lord asked us, to start the ministry, I was like, wow, that was put in me years ago for this reason now. And this season, the Lord is literally molding us and teaching us to have more of a servant heart, which we already had, but He's just amplifying everything. He's changing our mindset, He's changing our attitude, and our lives now is all about serving. And we do it in the name of the Lord. And we say it is a privilege to do so, and we're very grateful and blessed that He has chosen us to walk that path. So, and we thank the Lord because He also has already put forth a plan for the ministry where I was like, Lord, we have no money. How are we gonna do this? To help and do all these things. And He gave me a list of people to tell my testimony and the revelation, and just ask them to go pray about it. And then He was gonna reveal to them if He wants them to be part of it. And we thank God for all the yeses that we have gotten. And through these yeses, we're also giving a few people from that list that was supposed to be part of the ministry, holding more of a role. And we have an incredible team. So shout out to the Zoe V team, the Nesta,
Woo!
Roberto,
Olivia.
Olivia, Efren. And we thank everyone, and then we thank all our sponsors so far, because God,
Yes.
promised us that He was gonna send divine
Divine
sponsors,
sponsors. Yeah.
and man, you guys have been awesome. We couldn't have done it without y'all. So this is basically what we're doing now, and what that looks like is right now we're still in phase one, sort of now going into phase two a few weeks ago, where things started to move again. But for a long time, we're in phase one, where the Lord was just asking us to go out and serve, and build relationship with either churches or organization that's already doing the work. So we had reached out to a lot of organization, and we prayed and we asked the Lord to sort through it, so that way we can have the relationship that He's saves for us, so we can also be in the place that He's intended for us to be. And we got some responses, and it's been what, 3 4 months now, since what, March. We started serving since March, and now we have a schedule where every week, Wednesdays, Fridays, a few Sundays, we go out to the shelter, to the soup kitchen, to the church, to our church, and we serve, because our church also served the low income families, and sometimes also the homeless,
To out through
through
the
the outreach program,
outreach ministry.
which we have a wonderful team. So shout out to the Love Story outreach team and Minister James for doing an amazing job. And we've met wonderful people there, through there, who are now very close to our hearts. And that's what the Lord's asking us to do in this season, and we are very grateful. So in our ministry, if you guys also remember, in the past, we talked about how the Lord had me and my wife started this thing where I would wake up with like random names in my head from a prayer that she prayed, with a certain amount of number that we were to send back home to Haiti, because there are a lot of people in our church, in the church that I grew up in, that are widowers, handicapped, that can't work or that has no work. A lot of them are elderlies, and the Lord was like, I want you to take care of them. And we started doing that back home without anyone knowing, except for our parents, because we would tell them to send it, since they were more in contact with people back home, because I haven't spoken to any of these people, and some of them I don't even know. and that had stopped when we moved here because stopped working. And when when the Lord revealed the ministry, He said, "I want you. That's also going to be part of your ministry, because it's not just going to be where you are. For now, it's going to be where you are, and what I've asked you to do before. You're to pick that back up. So now we in this phase right now, being here, we're serving, and then we're also helping people in Haiti. So every 2 weeks we send a certain amount of money through the ministry to help 5 people, a certain amount, actually 10 people now. Is it 10 people? 10 people, right? 10 people every 2 weeks, and it's been a blessing because now we get to hear testimonies, and actually wanted to let's see if I can find a few to read so you guys can have an idea of. So two of them that really got to me was, well, there's a few, but one of them in particular, it's an elderly woman that sent a voice note saying that she has lost her son. Now, if you guys know, there's like upheaval in Haiti and a lot of criminal activities. People are losing their home because of gang violence. Literally, the gangs are raiding their homes, setting it on fire. So a lot of those people are living on the street, or in my case, my family back home, they're literally living in a church, sleeping on benches. So they would go, stay there because their home is either overtaken or the area is too hot and they can't stay there. So when they can go home in the afternoon, they would go and do what they got to do, pick up stuff and stuff. But at night, they have to get out because the gangs, take over the streets at nighttime. So this lady in particular, she has lost her son. She can't find him, and I guess the son is whom was helping her, and she had nothing. And when she received the envelope, shout out to Pastor Gary, who's in Haiti, literally doing the work for us. So we send him, the money, and he's distributing it to the people in the church that are in need. Because he's on the ground, we're here, so we needed, someone to do the work for us, and the Lord definitely is using him to do so. So she got the money, and she sent us a voice note saying, "I want to thank the Zoe V ministry for thinking of us. I lost my son, and I don't know where he is, so I'm left alone to take care of myself. I pray that God continue to bless you all for thinking of people like us who are old and cannot work to provide for ourselves. Your gift allowed me to buy the things that I need, and I am really grateful." Every time I read these testimonies, I just stop for a second and give glory to God. And one of the things that we always talk about is God's timing versus our timing. Because I remember back in Connecticut, I had this idea in my head to do something with the homeless, and I was gonna call it drive by blessings. And the idea behind it was to have a group of friends that were willing to financially put money together with us, and then we would go out every week just on the street. If we find someone, we would sit with them, and then either offer them food, take them to a restaurant, go buy them food and bring it to them, whatever the case may be, or anything that they need, would go buy and bring to them, and then we'd sit with them and we would record their life story of what happened and how they got here, kind of thing. And it never happened. It never happened. But it's always been something, that when working with the homeless, serving the homeless, was always in my heart. And when we got here and we got the revelation, I was like, yo, not only, you know, for whatever reason, well, obviously it wasn't God's timing, right? But maybe it wouldn't have been for his glory in a sense, because when you want to do something for yourself, as human, there's that little part of you that wants to take credit for doing what you're doing, and in that there could be pride, right? So I'm gonna say the Lord saw that in us, or even in the idea, and it was like, it's not time. So that never happened. And also financially, because we had so much going on, and we couldn't even send our kids to school. So in our heads, we're like, we can make it work, but we had so much going on, we really wouldn't have been able to do it.
Wouldn't
Or
be able to keep up with it.
that, oh, that's about to say, or we would have started and not finished, and that would have been us versus God doing something, and His word says He will start something, will definitely finish it. You know what I mean? So when we got here, we got the revelation, and then versus how He provided through those revelation to people, and it was like amazing to see everybody going to pray and how they were coming back and say, I got my confirmation. I was like, Lord, thank you, because you're working. Because I don't know how I was gonna be like, yo, you need to, every 2 weeks when you get paid, send me some money, because that's what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Some people have good hearts. They probably would have done it. A lot of people wouldn't have done it, because I understand that people have bills, people have lives, people have things to. But once you make that decision, because I remember, and I was telling my friends, I said, look, if you haven't gotten an answer, don't do it. Because once you commit, you're not committing to me. You're committing to the work of God. So whatever happens, that's between you and Him. I ain't got nothing to do with it. And that's how I approach everything. Once I told them, I never called anybody to check to say, yo, did you get an answer yet? Did you get an answer? I wasn't about that life, okay? Because that's not what I was asked to do. And another one said, I want to thank the Zoe ministry for thinking of me. Your gift came at a time when I struggled to pay my rent. I will try to invest the remaining so I can have a source of income to support myself. I can't do much for myself, so I am really grateful that you thought of people like us, and I pray that God continues to bless you all. Now, I want to give context to some people. When people in Haiti said they're going to invest their money, it's not in no crypto. It's not putting it in the bank. It's not trading, none of that stuff, okay? Life in Haiti is really hard. So when they said they're gonna invest, that's either they're gonna buy, candies to sell, they're gonna buy water to sell, because in America, we have water 24/7. You just turn on and then the water comes. In Haiti, we had, I don't know about you, but I used to walk
Boy,
miles.
you
Okay,
don't know about
miles
me.
with a bucket in my head, a bucket in my hand, right, with a group of friends, because we had to go buy water to either drink, to either shower, to cook, or to wash clothes, because everything is by hand. Okay, there was
Same
no laundry
life.
machine.
Same life.
Okay, now when we left, things were still good. Now things are hard. It's
Yeah.
hard to buy anything, because everything, the prices went up for everything. So I wanted to give you guys context of when they said whatever we sent them after they paid their rent, they're gonna invest. That's what they mean. And it gets me thinking about, like, what are the odds of God asking us to start a ministry in that time, where things literally have taken a huge turn in Haiti, and people literally are losing their lives, losing their homes, losing everything, and people can't go to work, kids can't go to school, nothing. And he scheduled it exactly in that time to start something and surround the ministry with people that have the heart to help. Because some people could have been, a lot of our donors and stuff like that, they're not Haitian, so they could easily say, that's not my problem, that's not my country, that's not my people. But they don't see them as just people, they're God's people, and He's asking us to take care of His people, and that's our ministry. So, and He's given me phases and ideas of, and vision of what the ministry will look like. I don't know when, but for now, this is where He, and in this phase in the ministry, this is what He's asking us to do. So I wanted to take the time and kind of talk to you guys, and also open the door to anybody who wants to help. When the Lord gave me the revelation, He said, He gave me literally, the plan. He gave me a list of people. He gave me the scripture in the Bible, Joshua 4, where I should give them so they can get context of why they were being chosen. And then he gave me an amount. So the amount for the ministry, we call them divine sponsors. Basically, what it is you, if you would like to be part, you would, reach out to us and let us know you would like to do so. And what that looks like is every 2 weeks, you're committed to give $50 every 2 weeks, just $50 every 2 weeks, which you can do through our given platform, and we can definitely give you that information as well. And that money, goes towards helping the people that are in need. And hopefully we'll start doing things here as well. But for now, we are giving our time, me, my wife, and some of our team members that are here. We go out and serve for 4 hours on Friday, 4 hours on Wednesdays, and this is literally what our lives look like now. So I definitely wanted to talk a little bit about it and give you guys the opportunity, if you want to be part. I'm gonna put the website link in the description. It's zoavministry.org. You can send us a message and let us know you'd like to be part. And if the $50 is too much and you can't be, like a committed divine sponsors, you can still donate. Because in the website it has option to do monthly, or you can choose to go anytime and donate whatever the Lord puts in your heart. You can donate to the ministry, and that will go towards helping us, making an impact, not just in the community, but also around the world. Because I do believe it's not just going to stay here in Haiti, it's going to spread out wherever the Lord leads. That's where we will go. Because his people are everywhere. So yeah, that's we wanted to kind of talk about that a little bit, to give you guys more context and open the invitation to you guys to do that. So God's timing versus our timing. That is something we have been living for a while now in this whole journey. So and there's a few things we can give you, but in particular, after we do that, there's a passage in the Bible that in my study this week, and I was learning and I was reading and meditating on. I was like, it's how, like, it just one of those light bulb moment of like put the stamp on how important it is, to be in God's timing versus our timing. Because sometimes, we act on emotion, and sometimes because something look good, we want to do it right away. And meanwhile, God is like, it ain't time yet. It ain't time yet. And a lot of times, we excitement get us to do things out of season. you know, and that only leads to destruction, failure, disappointment, all these things. And we end up blaming God for all of these things when he was like, first of all, you never even asked me.
Yeah. For my time. Yeah.
How many times are you doing something that you have gone to the man to say, Lord, is this your will? Lord, is this what you want me to do right now?
Yeah.
So whoever you are right now, that you're listening, whatever important decision that you have to make, whether it's relational, whether it's career, whether it's family, whatever it is, whatever you're thinking about doing right now, if there's some of you that is in that season right now, the best advice we got for you, bring it to God and ask him for his timing on it. Because I promise you, it will make a huge difference between what you think your now is versus what he thinks your now is. Because our now, most of the time, is not God's now. Our now, a lot of time, is like, God's like, put a pause on that because you're not ready yet. And we never know when we're ready for something because we always think we're ready. I'm ready to get married. I'm ready to be in a relationship. I'm ready to get a promotion. I'm ready to start a job. I'm ready to have kids. Ask God for his timing, because that promotion that you want can literally destroy your career.
Yeah.
Because it can bring pressure that you weren't ready for.
Yeah.
You know, the kid that those kids that you want, that you think society is telling you you're running out of time for. Ask God for His timing. The marriage that you think you love the man or the woman so much that you cannot wait to get married. Ask God for His timing.
Sometimes we have to recognize what actually drives us. And that's what we need to pay attention to when either God asks us to do something or when we actually want to do something. My husband is wired different from me. He's the type, when he has something in his head to do, he won't rest until it's done.
Yeah,
Okay?
that's true, yo.
Like the rest of the world just stopped, and then he got to focus on what's in his head, and he has to do it right away, which is a great quality to have. I'm more on the procrastinating side of life. You know, like I will tell myself, if I don't get it done today, I still have tomorrow, which is the worst side of the spectrum. I would keep telling myself, if I don't do it today, I can still do it tomorrow. If I don't do it tomorrow, I can still do it the next day. And then by the time, you know, it's like I find a way to talk myself out of it, especially if it's something that is challenging, that you know, I don't see that I can confidently do with my own, strength and ability. So instead of relying on the Lord and do what He's asked me to do or what He puts in my heart to do, I'll just keep putting it off until I talk myself out of it. Right. There are two, both can be bad. What I just described is that I can delay, I can be, in a sense, delay obedience is disobedience. Because God could have wanted you to do something today. The impact that the message would have on that person today, now that you procrastinated and you don't do it, now you missed the window. Because there could have been someone waiting for that word like today, right? And you just you keep putting it off. And then by the time you come with your message, God probably already used someone else. Yeah. Or you probably never got to it, okay? On His side of things, He could also miss God's time by trying to do it too quickly, too prematurely, So that's one thing, we always try to find a balance to really know, okay, we actually need to make sure that we know, God's timing or God's window for us to do this. Otherwise, somewhere or another, we're going to miss it. But yeah, it is really, really, truly important. Because if you're like my husband, you want to do things right away, you might do things too prematurely. And if you're on my side, where you procrastinate, you will miss the opportunity to do something that God, you will miss the opportunity to be used by God, in some very specific moment and stuff. So, yeah.
Yep. And again, we experience that so much, in our in this season. For example, when the Lord told us to move the second time and we said yes, we decided we were going to move in July. Why? Because it was convenient. Our cousin was getting married in July, so we're like, yo, we're not going to move, before then, and with no money having to try to come back to Connecticut, because it's not going to be possible.
And we couldn't miss that wedding.
You know what I mean? And the Lord, once we went to Him 3 days before the fast, we went to Him and asked Him, Lord, when would you like to move? We realized we never asked you when, and we just picked our own date. 3 days later, well, one day later after that prayer, he gave me an answer, gave her an answer, and then we revealed to each other it was literally the same answer. March 30th. And we're like, that was end of January, like January 29th. So we had a month, yo. But fast forward to now, everything fell into place to why he needed us to be here on March 30th. There's so many things we would have missed. Relationship that we have now, this house, the school, the school, program, all these things. Our friends, Olivia, that was at the school, that who's now not in the school. Like all these things it's insane when we sit and when we think about it, you know. So when we're sitting here telling you guys to do that, it's not because of like we don't know what we're saying. Like we've literally experienced that, and he has changed everything drastically for us. This podcast, I was like, yo, we're gonna release this in September because baby will be due by September. Then we can take a break. We'll have enough episode that we can take that break, and don't have to worry about it. Then that month that you're gonna be recovering, and I'm gonna be busy trying to keep up with
Hold
the
it
girls
down.
and stuff like that. We just keep posting the episode, and we don't have to record. And then literally one Sunday, the Lord was like, July 1st. We're like, what? We don't have enough episode recorded, but July 1st. And we literally had to be obedient despite not seeing, the in having enough to do that right away. There were things that weren't in place yet for that. And then fast forward, there are people that needed a word from one of those episodes that was released at that time. Now, what you were saying earlier, there's something God wants you to do today that won't have the same impact. Now, if I need food today, I'm hungry, okay? I need food today. And you have food to give me, and you're like, yo, I'm going to give it to you in September. Bro, it's July.
You'll be dead by then.
You know what I mean? Like, it's July, So that's the important of, God's timing versus our timing. And it taught me a lesson in the process. God's timing develops character. Going back to the whole thing with what I wanted to do back home. Now thinking about it, there could have been so much pride in that.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
From both sides.
From both sides.
Both of us, yeah.
And now God is we went through the season, and if you guys, followed, like for 11 months, I was literally doing what the Lord asked me to do, which is seek my face. And in that process, all he was doing was building my character,
Breaking you.
molding my heart to make me the servant man that he wanted me to be. And now my heart is at a place where all I see is serve.
There were a lot of things that God needed to like take out.
Yep.
One thing I always say, sometimes when we're giving to people, right? Sometimes not everybody knows how to give to people. A lot of people are giving to people, but not everybody knows how to give to them without making them feel like they're just like, they're just
a project
or whatever the case may be. And I feel like really if God didn't take us on a journey and kind of like molded our hearts, that's exactly what we would be doing. We would be giving from a position of, I'm in a better place.
Right.
Now, like, let me,
Yeah.
But, God really started to change our perspective as like, these people are still my people and I still love them. And I still, see them as my images. Like, there's no difference between you and them.
Yep.
You're just in a place where you can help them we're also in a place where other people can
Can
help
help
us.
us because we have nothing, yo. We
Everybody's in a
literally have
place.
nothing.
Everybody's in a place where someone can
Someone
help
can
them.
help. Don't ever think
You know.
you're too high
So,
or you're above
in one
anybody.
way or another, we all need people. We all need each other. Okay, it's just that some may need more than others.
Yeah.
So we had to learn all these things and really like the whole thing about we used to be like, that's our space. You don't gotta be in our space. That was our mentality. Not everybody gotta be in our space. That's our space. But now we have a mindset of this is the Lord's house.
This is the Lord's house. Welcome to anybody.
You know, like this is
Anyone the
God's
Lord
house.
brings in here,
Whatever food we have, it's God's
it's
food.
God's food for
It's His
anybody
people's
who,
food.
yep,
People wants to come, people come
and
to,
eat,
to us
eat,
like
come and chill,
we
come
may
and
not have
whatever.
anything else to give you, but we'll make sure you eat. We'll make sure we have good fellowship. And because, God is, I'm not saying where we're supposed to be. God is still working in us, but
Yep.
it's, we
It's a
can,
process, yo.
we can see that our mindsets are being, renewed and we're not thinking the same way anymore.
Thank you, Holy Spirit.
Go ahead.
There's no difference when it comes to helping, because us as humans, we have this thing in our head or this picture in our head. If I'm rich, I need to do a project and someone donates money to me to do a project. It's like it's not the same versus me, some rich people helping the poor. Help is help. From our perspective, we want to categorize because culture makes us categorize. But there's no difference someone lending a hand to you, even if you are in a good place, lending a hand to you for you to do something versus you lending a hand for someone else that is the same thing.
Okay, to think about the presidential candidates, right? Needing people's money to
Fund their campaign and
fund
all
their
this. It's
campaign.
the same thing.
Like
Because you can't do it without it. So the poor can't
we
live without us.
all, yeah,
And the help.
we all
We all need
need
somebody.
somebody.
There's that song.
So yeah.
And that took me this week, and that kind of took me in the Bible, and I was discussing that with you after my study. In Genesis 37, the parallel is Joseph. Joseph had a gift. Okay, this is where I said sometimes we can use our gifts, or our money or whatever, or talent in the wrong season. If it's not God's timing, it's the wrong season.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. Okay? Joseph had the gift of interpreting dreams. Okay? And God gave him a vision. And prematurely, he went to his brothers and told his brothers, right? So in Genesis chapter 37, verse 5, one night Joseph had a dream, and when he told his brothers about it, they hated him more than ever. They hated him because of the dream. Now, they didn't know that the dream was actually, a vision of what to come true. Even Joseph didn't know that, right? But prematurely, and we could have easily done that too. I had a dream that I am this, and then you're, even jokingly, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to be serving me one day.
Pause. I have questions. Joseph had to know that his brothers didn't like him.
But sometimes stupidity, bro. Stupidity
I
and
don't
excitement
think
again.
it's stupidity.
No, but I'm just saying for us it would have been. But I'm saying excitement and not knowing when to use
No.
what God is giving you. To me, that's how I see it.
In a family set. Let's see it in a family perspective. Don't just see it in a general perspective. Let's see it in a family perspective. We're siblings. I know you hate me. And I know you hate me because you think I'm favored.
So you think it's been? What do you think it is?
You think I'm favored. You think my father loves me more. You think this and that. I'm going to give you a reason to hate me more. I'm going to show you that I have something else that you don't have.
So you think it's
Kinda thing.
It's like a kind of like being petty kind of thing, or bitterness or
Listen, I
something.
not bitterness, but kind of like show off kind of thing. Like
Okay,
let me
I
show.
like a
I'm gonna
okay. I
show
mean,
you that
it could have been because
he
imagine
was
if, but
young.
that's what I'm saying.
You know?
Imagine being hated all the time, and
Yeah.
now like
You got to
you
prove
got
that you're
something.
better
You know
in
what I mean?
something. You know?
And verse 8, his brothers responded, "So you think you will be our king? Do you? Do you actually think you will reign over us?" And they hated him all the more because of his dream and the way he talked about them.
And let's pause. Another thing. When you're always like when you're being bullied a lot, you're always thinking somehow you fantasize about when you're gonna be strong enough.
To, to, to take them
When you
down.
fantasize about that, when that's why a lot of kids that are being bullied, they have that superhero, like they always like the superhero movies
Yep.
where you have that thing in your head where like one day I'm gonna be strong enough and I'm gonna beat all of them up, or one day I'm gonna be this. Now I think you start having those dreams where they're bowing down before you. You're like, Manny,
But again, using it in the wrong season and
for the wrong
prematurely
reasons.
for the wrong reasons. Because then he goes to his dad in verse 10 to tell his dad. This time he told the dream to his father as well as his brothers, but his fathers scolded him. Literally, his fathers rebuked him. What kind of dream is that? He asked. Will your mother and I and your brothers actually come and bow to the ground before you? He literally rebuked them. So two instances of using of doing something in your timing versus God's timing. Because just because God gives you a vision doesn't mean you're supposed to go and tell people. Just because God gives you a revelation, that doesn't mean it's time for you yet to reveal it to the world.
And we see two things at play. We see a first scenario where Joseph was probably just, what reason would I have to share something with people that I know don't like me? Unless I want to show them. I want to prove to them that I got something going on for me. That's the first scenario of him sharing with his brother. Now, going to his dad, to whom he's like the favorite child.
Right.
That's a safety thing.
Yep.
That's him going to someone who he thinks, okay, maybe I'm safe sharing it with my dad.
And I think that was innocent.
That part was innocent. For him, it's probably like, okay, my brothers, I already knew they wouldn't respond well to that anyways because they hate me. I just wanted
Right.
to like flaunt it. I just wanted to throw it in their faces. But for him to
the
go to tell
dad.
his dad, that's him thinking, okay, I'm safe.
Or
It's
even
safe
like,
to share with
or
this
even like
person.
maybe he'll understand, or kind of trying to give
But
me
sometimes that's what we
advice
do.
on. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what we do with revelations and the gifts that God has given us. We go to places where we think we're safe. Sometimes we go to places where we think, we can be elevated.
Yep.
And then sometimes we go to places where we think it's safe to share it. And then we still, outside of God's timing, nothing will work really. It's just like, you gotta wait.
So in chapter 40, at this point he's in jail.
At
Okay.
this point,
He's in jail. All right. And there were three other people. There are many of them, but like three in particular had was it three? I think three or two had specific dreams that they couldn't make any sense of it.
two of them.
Two of them. So they went to him, and as soon as he hears his dream, again because he's gifted, trying to use his gifts prematurely for his own gain in a sense.
I mean,
because
is
I
it-
think he saw an opportunity. He was like, all right, I'm in prison. I see what the vision is. One of you can help me. So I'm going to use my gift as a result to remember what I did for you when you get to where you're going. All these things were literally Joseph's timing when it came to like his gift and talent. Okay? So there was two of them. One of them, he was like, the king's going to cut off your head. The other one is like the king's going to raise you back up and you're going to be his cupbearer again. And you're going to be serving the king and all that stuff. So when the opportunity came, so and before they came and get both of them, he was like, remember
Remember me?
me,
Yeah.
and the guy left. Everything Joseph said came to pass. But guess what? 2 years went by. The guy never remembered Joseph. And then came God's timing. God's like, I'm gonna make you wait 2 years. You think doing this at this time would have got you out in a week? How about 2 years? And then God's like, you done playing? Now it's my time. So when it came to Pharaoh having dreams that literally couldn't sleep, and he had to call all the magicians in the land to interpret the dreams, and they couldn't. And then
That guy
the
remembered.
guy remembered. Wait, there was a guy when I was in there that kind of interpreted our dreams, and literally everything came to pass to the T. How about him? They called Joseph, and then Pharaoh told him the dream, and then he interpreted the dream. And that moment, that was God's timing, because that was the plan all along. And what happened? Joseph became the second most important man
After Pharaoh.
in Egypt. Now think about that for a second.
For a
If-
Hebrew person
for-
to become that.
And my dude got
In
hired
Egypt.
in the spot. Now think about the difference between when we decide to take matters into our own hands versus when we let God take over and lead us.
Yeah.
And sometimes all we have to do is be patient.
And-
I know that's hard. Being patient is hard.
Yeah.
Especially when you've been, listen, it took me a long time, y'all. You guys know this. For the longest time, I strive to be, a creative that was impacting in so many facets in the industry. Nothing has been working. It's not because I lack talent. It's not because, I don't work hard. None of that. But I've come to understand it is not God's timing, because I was trying to use my talent and my gifts for my own gain, because
Yeah.
I wanted to, be one of the best stylists. I wanted to be this. I wanted to be that. I wanted to have my own place. I wanted to have my own, studio, my own business. I wanted to be known. I wanted all that. And God was like, it's not time.
And also, you wanted. There's one thing you always say. You're like, especially in the Haitian, culture and community. You always said, I want them to think of me or look at me and say, it's possible.
Yep.
Now, whenever we were doing something and we want people to look at us instead of him,
Right. There you go.
there's a problem.
There you go.
And when Joseph was sharing his dreams, he wanted the attention on him,
Right.
and God had to mold him. And the thing is, he has not even developed the gift to the full. Like when he was sharing with his brothers, he didn't have interpretation yet. He was just telling them, "This is what I saw."
This is what I saw.
You
Yep.
know, he didn't have interpretation until it was
When he
God.
got into-
When he got into,
Well, it was
un-
before, because
when God
Right.
was in the phase of development.
Developing, yep.
And sometimes we want to skip that phase of development, or we want to shorten that phase. Because for him, it's like, okay, now I can interpret.
yep.
Now, there's no reason for me to not.
Now I can flex my gifts.
There's
know
no
what I mean?
reason
Now
for me to not get something out of it.
Yep. And he
and
tried.
and then that's the thing. Like we think about what we can get out of our dreams instead of what God is using that gift. We think more about what we can get out of our gifts instead of thinking out what do you want to do with that gift that you give me? And for the longest time, I think that's what it was for you. What can I get out of that gift that I have?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted a career.
What can I make of it? I need to make a life. I need to build.
influence, I wanted
Exactly.
relationships. I wanted all these things, y'all.
I remember when this
wanted-
man came to me and said, "I want to be a celebrity stylist."
Yeah, I did, and I did. No, and it wasn't for any reason, but I just saw it as like one of the top level, categories when it comes to stylists. Like if I can reach that level, then the industry will know my name.
And God is like, "How about mining? About not knowing you, but know my name through you.
Humility, yo. God has been humbling me, and now I have a different perspective on everything. I don't chase those anymore, and now I'm like, Lord, however way you want me to use my gifts and my talent, let your will be done. Because everything that I wanted to do, and now I'm like, and it's funny because the Lord had always put this fire in me when it comes to like my gifts and everything. There's a lot of things that I do now I never went to school for, nor did I know how to do them, but something triggered me and pushed me to do it. Photography, the people that I used to work with, wonderful people, but they were busy. They had their own, clients. And it was always a struggle to like book time to do a styling shoot when I come up with this concept and stuff like that. And sometimes I didn't have the money, and I'm like, yo, what am I doing? Let me learn how to take pictures. So I sat there during COVID for a month straight online, just watching, and I just started practicing. Same thing with editing videos. I wanted to have content and stuff like that, and one of my friend always also very busy and trying to build a life, had a kid and stuff like that, and it was always hard to get him to do something. And I was like, yo, I gotta figure this out. So I learned. And I wanted a studio, what I thought I wanted the studio for. And God's like, nah, I'm gonna use that desire that you have, but for my glory. So now fast forward, here we are. The gifts, me learning photography, the Lord was using my gifts to bless his people, right? He was literally dropping people like, bless this people with a session, bless this person with a session. Video editing. Now he's like, okay, it's time. I'm giving you the space. It's time for you to start this podcast. But I know in the season, I've asked you not to work, so therefore you don't have the necessary, funds to do certain things, but you have what I've given you in you. You can do the recording, you can direct all that stuff, you can do all the setup, and then you can do all the editing. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna take you time, because it is time consuming. But you are in a position now you can do that because I've put that in you, and I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for it, and it makes you realize, God's timing is different from our timing. And when you put it in perspective, you realize when it comes to God's timing, you're never behind.
No.
You're never behind when it comes to God's
I
timing.
mean, the man is never late. He's an on-time God.
You know what I mean? And the word says he will restore the years. Everything I've done that I thought was a waste or because I didn't succeed, they were never waste. Because God wastes nothing.
And also, I think we need to stop looking at culture or stop seeing things from a cultural lens
And seeing
and
it from
see
a
it from a
spiritual lens.
spiritual lens, like
Kingdom
from
lens.
God's lens and kingdom lens.
Yep.
Okay, there's a timeline for everything.
For everything.
From this age to this age, you're supposed to be that. You're supposed to have that level of development.
Yep.
You're supposed to have, like, it's like from the time you were born, there's a timeline on your life for everything.
Yeah.
And a lot of us Christians are being driven by these things, and because of that, we're missing God's timing a lot because we're so focused on, I should have been married by now. I'm 30 something. I should have had kids. I should have had a degree. I should have had this and that. And man, I remember when my whole identity was in me going to college and get a degree.
graduate.
I was miserable.
Yep.
I was miserable.
Yep.
I'm not, well, society makes us all think that we need that. But maybe in God's picture for you, you may not need that.
You don't.
I'm not discouraging anybody to go to school. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is,
Don't tie your identity.
don't feel
to
feel like to amount to something in the kingdom of God, you need a degree. You have to have a degree. This is all for us on earth.
Yep.
To glorify ourselves.
And go back to the stories in the Bible.
To be,
So many unqualified
yeah,
people.
yeah.
The disciples, a lot of them were fishermen.
The I was reading Hebrew. I mean, that's the book that I'm reading for the past few days, and they have a wall of fame in one of the chapters. I think chapter 11, where they're talking about all the people that were credited righteous. It was only because of their faith,
Yep. Had
not
nothing
because
to
of
do
their
with their
accomplishments,
status,
not because of their
what they
status,
had,
not because
nothing.
it was because of their faith.
Yep.
And some of them started well and they finished so
So bad,
badly,
bro.
but yet it was still credited to them,
So bad, bro.
righteous because of their faith.
Yep.
And it says the world doesn't deserve any of these people. And you know what's worse? Even though the world doesn't deserve them, that's how much God's valued them and the work that they do by faith. It says that some of them didn't even see the promise that God had for them. Would you be okay if whatever God promised you won't happen in your lifetime? Because we make this relationship with God so transactional.
Yep.
Like, I'm going to believe so God can do something. No. No.
And some of your
Because
blessings
what if it doesn't do it?
is for your descendants, your next
Exactly.
generation.
There are grandmas, there are things that is happening now. It's because some grandma
Prayed that
or
prayer.
great grandma prayed.
And God's making
And
it
God is
happen.
like, okay, I'm going to answer your prayer, but 10 generations later, what do you think they did? They stay faithful to God.
So
And
will
they
you
believe
stay faithful to God? Will you stay faithful to God even if what you ask for isn't going to happen while you're alive?
Our ministry might become a global thing when our kids take over,
Yep.
or grandkids take over.
Yep.
But the point is, God wanted to start with us,
Yep.
and we obeyed and we started it.
And we have to be okay with
And we have to
whatever,
be okay.
however God is gonna, however God's gonna come this to make this come to pass. Whatever it's gonna do, it's literally only God's timing and God's decision.
Yes.
And like we said, if at some point God's like, yo, whoever I wanted to reach through the podcast, I've reached that person. We're done. We ain't gonna hold on to this like, Lord, we love this. Lord, this feels good. Lord, we don't want to do anything else. Nah, bro.
Nah.
If the Lord says tomorrow, okay, I have a job lined up for both of y'all.
Oh
well,
yeah, we'll
we're
go
going
back to work. And then guess what? We're gonna continue to minister at work.
Yep.
Because your ministry is wherever
is
you are. It's
Your
not.
job is your ministry.
Yes.
If you're a doctor, that's your ministry. If you're a salesperson, that's your ministry.
Even if all you do is just pray, like let's say you're a surgeon, even if all you do is just pray before you start surgery,
That's your
you
ministry.
pray over your patients, and you just you just invite God to take over, in their healing process and whatever the case may be. That's your ministry.
Yeah. So
We don't have to be on the pulpit. We don't all have to be,
Yeah.
doing this, and we don't all have to be on a big platform. So, yeah.
So the only thing that we got left for you as an encouragement is what God wants to do with you has nothing to do with your timeline. Nothing. So trust His timing and prepare yourself.
Preparation is important.
Because whatever season that you feel like you're stuck, see it as preparation for what's to come. So trust God, because your timing is not His timing. And with that, we'll leave it at that.
Just
God's timing versus our timing. Let us know what you think.
something to think about and
Let us
really
know what you
meditate
think.
on, friends.
Let us know what you think.
Yeah, we don't just want to encourage you. We don't just want to just give you words. We also want to grow with you.
Yeah.
So talk back to us. Let us know.
Let us know how this is encouraging
This
you.
is a safe and open space.
Yeah.
You let us know how this is being helpful, or if not, or how you think this could be more helpful.
Yeah.
So yeah.
We love you guys. We hope this was an encouragement. As always, please subscribe and share it with someone that you know is in need of a word of encouragement. Your encouragement towards us means everything. It keeps us, focused on the Lord. It keeps us focused on the assignment that has been laid out in front of us, and we just want to remain faithful, and so God can continue to trust us in the little things and in the big things. So we love you guys. Thank you for hanging, and then we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Peace. What's up, y'all? If you're a testifier or just someone who rocks with us and this platform has been a blessing and encouraging you in any way, please subscribe to our channel for more contents like this. We encourage you to share our videos and also follow our podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And be sure to give us a follow on our IG and TikTok page at Testimony and Blessings Pod. We love you and we appreciate you. Peace.